I'm going to just take the next few minutes to talk to you about names. So names are really important. They're all around us. In fact, the dictionary defines names as a word or words which a person or object is known. So without names, we'd really struggle to identify people and things. But names aren't always permanent, and some names change. In fact, I'm going to show you some pictures now of some brands which have changed over the years. I wonder if you can guess what these brands are now, because lots of these have changed. Maybe if you're on your own, see how many you can get, or if you're with a group, see how many you can get as a collective. You'll see that, I can remember this one, Opal Fruits became Starburst, Marathon Bars became Snickers. Not sure how many of you remember the Choco Crispies and Cocoa Pops. There's actually a TV advert and then a vote where we got to decide whether we wanted them to stay as Cocoa Pops or go back to Choco Crispies, and the UK decided to stick with Cocoa Pops. And then the one that surprised me when I looked into this was Nike used to be Blue Ribbon Sport. It doesn't quite have the same ring as Nike, so I wonder if they hadn't changed their name, where they'd be now. So lots of brands have changed their name, but there's not only brands, people can change their name as well. And lots of us might even have different names. So some of us might have nicknames linked to something we've done or something about us. I can think of a few I've had in the past. Maybe you can think of some yourselves. So I had Morrow linked with Morrison. In football, got called Gump because I was quite fast, and sometimes Chopper because I was a defender. So sometimes the names can tell you something about that person. We've been looking in our morning service at the life of Abraham. And in today's chapter, we see a name change. We see that God comes to Abram and speaks to him and changes his name from Abram to Abraham. It might seem like quite a minor change, just a couple of letters, but actually the significance of this change was massive. God tells Abraham, "Your name will be Abraham, for I've made you the father of many nations." So not only that, he's promising that he'd be a father of many nations, and he makes a covenant, a promise with Abraham that he will be the God of his descendants, and that they will be his people. So although it was just a couple of letters, the significance of it was huge. But I want to speak about one more name before we finish. And we know that from the descendants of Abraham came King Jesus. And before Jesus was born, an angel appeared to Joseph and said that when the baby is born, that you should call his name Jesus. And in Matthew, it says this, it says, it's to call him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. So when has there ever been a more significant name than that? That a baby Jesus was called Jesus, meaning rescuer or saviour, because he was born for a purpose, to save us from our sin, that he would die in our place and become our saviour. So what a name, what a great name that is. But more than just the name, more importantly than the name itself, what a saviour he is. So let us just remember that, and let's take some time as we sing together of our great saviour and our great rescuer, who is worthy of all praise.